Welcome back. In this video, we'll talk about Linux file system hierarchy. Hierarchy means structured way. So whenever we install Linux operating system or we create a Linux virtual machine in any of the cloud, whether it may be AWS or Azure or GCP, the file system structure will get created. So this directory structure, if you see here, the slash which we see here, this is called as a top level directory. Under this, we can see multiple directories: root, boot, bin, var, etc. Like these are the directories gets created. So we need to understand each and every directory. What is the purpose of these directories? Before discussing about this, let's take an example of Windows operating system. Whenever we install Windows operating system, in Windows operating system, we can see C drive. In C drive, we can see some directory structure. Let me see in my laptop about the C directory structure. So this is my laptop, and inside this I can see two drives. And if I go to the C, so inside this we can see some directory structure like program files x86, users, Windows. So these are the default directory structures will get created whenever we install the Windows operating system. So same way in Linux also, whenever we install the Linux operating system or we create a virtual machine inside the AWS or Azure, we can able to see the slash as a top level directory. So here this slash is equal to C drive inside the Windows. So how the directories are available inside the C drive, the same way in the Linux also this slash is equal to C. Inside the C we can see users directory, programs files directory, Windows directory. The same way here also we can see multiple directories. Here directories are nothing but we call as a folders. So here we'll talk about each and every folder and what is the purpose of these folders. So now slash, this is called as a top level directory, which means, as I said, this is equal to the C drive. So slash root means all these directories are inside this slash. So obviously we need to call it as a slash root, or this root is available inside this slash. So to understand in a better way, let's connect to this Linux machine which we created, and then we'll see how this directory structure is created. I'm connected to this AWS console, and this is a Ubuntu machine which created. Just select this and copy the IP address and go to the mobile extra tool, click on session, SSH, give the IP address, and username is by default Ubuntu, and advanced SSH. Select here the private key, select the key and click on OK. So now I connected to this Linux machine. I connected as a Ubuntu user. Now what we need to do, we need to connect as a root user account. So for that we need to use sudo space su-, so that we'll connect as a root user account. So we'll discuss later about this sudo command. As of now, we need to check the current file system structure. So what we can do, we can just do ls and slash. If we hit enter, then we can see what is inside this ls, or else we can do this way, cd slash, and we can go inside that slash, and under that we can see what are the directories are available. Okay, so this way also we can see, or else let me clear the screen. Ls, it will list the files and directories inside this slash. So now we can see these are the important directory structures. You can see root, opt, etc, boot. So these are the var, some important directories we can able to see here. Now we'll talk about each and every directory here which are important. So slash root means it is a home directory for a root user, which means like in Windows we have an administrator account. Same way in Linux we have a root account. He's a super user. This root user account can do anything. He can reboot the server. He can change the configuration settings of operating system. Any configurations, any settings, we can able to do this with the root. So whenever the root logs in, by default his home directory will be slash root. So now if I go back here, if I go back to this machine, if I check with the pwd command, I'll exit and again I'll log in as a root, sudo space su-, and if you see present working directory, I can see slash root. Means whenever root user logs in, by default his home directory is slash root. So whatever the files he want to create, he can able to create in his home directory. So like same in Windows also we have separate administrator account and he's having his own separate directory structure, same way here. And slash home, it is home directory for other users. Other users means the users apart from the root user account. We create lot of other normal user accounts, application user, database user, or maybe some other user accounts, whatever we create manually. Those user accounts, home directory will get created under the slash home. So same like in Windows. For example, this is in the C drive, we can see users directory. If I go inside this, we can able to see the default some user accounts which we create inside this Windows operating system. Then if I create second user account, then that user directory will be created inside this users directory. So whatever the users we create inside this Windows operating system, all those home directories for those user accounts will get created under this users home directory. Same way here also, we the users which we create will get created under the slash home. And slash boot, it contains the bootable files for Linux. So whenever you boot your Linux machine, so it will take the bootable files from this slash boot and it will load your operating system. If anything happens to this slash boot, is it corrupted or any files has been deleted, modified inside this slash boot directory, then the OS will not come online while booting. So for example, if I go to cd slash home and I can see here, these are the user accounts which got created. This is about the slash home. And if you see inside the slash boot, and here if you go back and see, these are some bootable related files. So we should not touch these files. If anything happens to the files here, the machine will not boot properly. And etc, it contains all configuration files. So etc contains configuration files like a lot of, if we install any softwares, then all the software related configuration files will store inside this etc. And by default, when OS is loaded or installed, at that time also OS related configuration files also will be stored here. If you want to change any default options of any of the softwares or any of the features, then we should go to the respective configuration file inside this etc, and we can change that specific configuration files to take effect the new changes. And slash usr, by default softwares are installed in this directory. This is same like a program files in the Windows. Let's go to the Windows machine. So in this Windows, if you go to the program files, here we can see lot of directories here, which means whenever we install any software inside this Windows machine, one directory will get created, and whatever the software we install, that application will get installed inside this specific location under the program files. Same way in the Linux also, softwares will get installed inside this slash usr. And slash bin, it contains commands used by all users. Here all users means whether it can be root user or normal users. So what are the normal users we create, what are the commands they execute to create a file, to delete a file, or to create a directory, lot of commands we execute as a normal user. All those commands will be available inside this slash bin. Bin is nothing but a binary. And sbin means super binary. It contains commands used by only root user. So the commands are divided whenever the OS is installed. Under the slash bin contains the normal commands, under the sbin contains super user binaries, which means, let's say if you want to reboot the server, you will execute a command called reboot. If you want to shut down, then shutdown command will be executed. Or any network configuration changes you want to make, any performance tuning you want to, like whatever the changes you want to do in the OS level, then those commands will be available inside the sbin, and this can be executed only by the root. And slash var, it contains log files. So here it contains OS related log files, or if we install any applications, that application related log files also will be created inside this slash var. So let's go and see here. So inside this machine, if we go and go to cd slash var here, and if I type lsfnltr, here you can see which kind of log files you are looking. Like if I go to the cd log, and I can able to see OS related log files will be available inside the var log directory. And if I go back one step, and if I type lsfnltr once again, like you can able to see mail related log files. You can able to see mail related log files. So likewise, if you install any software also, one directory will get created inside this location with that software name, and you can able to go and see the log file of that specific software. So this way we can able to see the log files. So this is the file system hierarchy of the Linux operating system. By default, these are the directory structures will get created whenever the OS is installed or create a virtual machine inside the AWS or Azure. Bye for now. We'll meet in the next video.